Greetings, my friends, and welcome to How to Use GemSticky with Polymer Clay, Filigree, and Rhinestones, brought to you by tinypandora.com. You know, I've been making a lot of things with this. I've had such a good time, and I've gone through different phases of Magic Gloss and GemSticky and combinations of those two. So I wanted to show you how that's working with the filigree, the rhinestones, and with the clay itself. So I've got several examples here that I made. This big one here is made from a piece of filigree that's in the Barrettes and Brooches collection. And then the little one dangling there is from the Earrings and Pendants collection. I have all your filigree divided into things that you can use for projects. This little round one was easy to do. It's just a charm or a little dainty pendant. And the stones are set in there with GemSticky. This one's got Magic Gloss on both sides and just a cane slice that shows through the filigree. And then the stone is set with GemSticky. What GemSticky can do is stick one thing to another. So let's say you've got Magic Gloss, you can't just drop a stone into that because it'll float all around. With these, I put Magic Gloss in that open bezel on a silicone sheet. That formed a little platform, and then I could put GemSticky underneath the stones. And it's just absolutely rock solid. It also adheres glass to metal, and that can be really important, like when you're using those little rose ear stud findings. And then down at the bottom there, I was able to secure a stone in the finding. So as you use it, you can find it does different things. One thing it does is absolutely stick permanently. These earrings were underwhelming. I was going to take them apart and try it again, and that is not coming off of there. So you can rest assured it's going to beat super glue and stuff like that. But today we're making these. That's the back there. I don't think I showed you that at the end. I just used a texture sheet to make a texture on a number 3 sheet of clay, and I'll show you how I did that. I started out with that number 3 sheet of clay, and I textured it with this love letter stamp that I carry in my store. Almost all this stuff is in the store, everything but the clay really. And so I put a texture on it, flipped it over, and put my little filigree piece on top. These come in pairs so that you can make earrings with. Anyway, I put it on there and I trimmed it with my super sharp craft knife. And I'm just poking down the metal parts with my SCULPEY ball stylus. I have a few sets of those in the store left. Not very many though. Anyway, I'm pushing down the metal so that I can make sure there's nothing really, no high spots. And I'm making dots with my SCULPEY ball stylus where I want to place some gemstones. The ones that I carry, these rhinestones I carry, are super, super beautiful. We don't get any cracked ones, you don't get any dull ones or scratched ones. Anyway, they're pointed back, and that really helps them seat in these little voids in the filigree, and that's what I've been having a fun time with. So I've made 2 kinds of little spots. I've made small spots for the tiny ones, which are about 2 millimeter. And I'm making a little bit bigger indentations for those 3.5, 4 millimeter ones that I have. And I'll show you in a little bit how we set that center stone, which you can see is going to be going over metal, so it'll need a little bit different technique. So you take your little sticky wand. You get 5 of those with your GemSticky. And you can reuse them, of course, and you get a little ball in there like a little tiny, they remind me of little tiny honey servers. What are those things called? A little, like you do with honey. Okay, and it's about the texture of honey, and I'm dropping a little ball of it in each of those holes for the really small stones. Those are olive green, and I just love them. I'm not sure you can really see sparkle and color of that green in this shot, but I use a lot of those kind of colors. So you pick it up with your little sticky picker thing. That comes with your GemSticky, or you can get refills that just have the wands and the GemSticky. But this one comes with the tool too, the picker tool, because you can see how much easier that is. I was always trying to use tweezers, and I even tried to make myself a picker with a toothpick and some translucent clay. It didn't work. So these wax tips on here really do the job. And I'm placing my gemstones right where I want them. And what's cool about GemSticky is it forms a little transparent ring, like a little bezel, around those pointed back stones, and they're really in there. I just love the appearance of them, the way they look when they're set, versus just the flat stones, which I can just always tell are flat. These kind of have a little bit of gracefulness to them. You see that metal end on there? It's kind of like a real fine pen kind of thing. Anyway, that end is the one you use to seat them down in there and make sure they're all level with each other. And I really like that about this tool, because I've had some wax sticks that didn't have the little back end on them, and it was harder to do. So I got those for you. That's going to go into the UV light, or you can use the little flashlights, which we just got in, and GemSticky cures so quickly. It's 10 seconds basically with that flashlight. Now, when you're using Magic Gloss, you probably want a bigger light. You can be holding it for 5 minutes or something. You might get tired of doing that, but the flashlight, excuse me, is the perfect thing for setting gemstones. Then maybe you can use your bigger light for the Magic Gloss parts. So it's easy to set those center stones, because all you have to do is take a little tiny ball, and you make the balls the same, same size. Make sure that they're even for the earrings. But anyway, you take a little ball and you put GemSticky under that, because GemSticky adheres raw clay. You can adhere it to baked clay. In this case, these pieces are not baked yet. But you could put it underneath the little ball of clay. Then you put it underneath the stone. And when that is cured in the UV light and then baked, it is absolutely rock solid. Get a little bit of GemSticky on your stone, it comes off with rubbing alcohol. I'll show you how I put the chain around there. I love that little tiny chain. I do have that in the store. I have like a little sampler kit. It gives you 4 kinds of chain, just, like a foot of each. And that way you can see which ones fit your projects. And then if you want to order a big old giant spool of that, you can get it that way. But I package it in 4 different kinds so that you can kind of figure out what you want to use. The quantities in a project like this are so tiny, most people don't really have any use for a 10-foot roll. So I take my GemSticky and put it around the red stone. And it's always best, of course, to measure your chain beforehand. So I had done one, so I knew how many stones, how many links. I wanted 8 to go around that. So you always want to do that while it's still dry, before your GemSticky is placed on there. Just kind of measure out your rhinestone chain so that you don't have to fool with it when you're trying to put it on, it's easier that way. And I'm just trying to make sure that it doesn't flip over on its side too much. A little bit's okay, but we want to make sure that the stones are visible. And the more you do that, the easier it gets. My little teeny tiny point on that knife really comes in handy sometimes. Those are some little scalpels I got for you guys because I happened to buy a few and they were so sharp and so accurate. I thought, oh, this is the ticket. So I bought a couple cases of them. Okay, so there they are. And those are ready to go under the light, or I can shine the flashlight on them because those amounts of GemSticky cure very quickly. You can see that one was used with GemSticky to adhere the stone to the stud finding. It also was used to stick the clay to the metal. Stuff sticks everything to everything. I think you're going to really like it. Those are just some little flower molds I have in the shop. They're so much fun. You can just mold the flowers and put a little bit of mica powder on them, or you could use chalk pastels. This one is just a cane end. I just made a little sculpture, a little slice thing out of it. And those are some Skinner blend and some regular antique gold. And that's Sculpey Primo. All of those colors are in that. But it's really neat how you can use your magic gloss on top like that purple and pink one, or you can just leave it open and use GemSticky like the gold one. Now those are cooked. They're ready to go, ready to mount on the findings. I think I showed you the back at the beginning, and that was just a textured back. You could do any number of things. I've seen people put another earring finding on the back of that if they, if they wanted to do it that way. But I hope you like that. I had a blast doing it. And I hope to see you over at the store and every week on Crafting Live with Pandora and Elena.